purpose of this video is just a little bit more of a sort of like a journal entry, a reflection for me on the past 5 years of being self-employed. I think the biggest success I have is when people ask me what I do, and instead of saying I run a business, I just say it without the quotation marks, so it feels like a win. But I think, over the past 5 years, it's been a lot of fun. It's been really stressful. I think about where I started. I made a post about this on Instagram, but the first project I did when I was an adult was on the back porch. I was living in the basement of a friend's house, and I made 2 small side tables and a coffee table. They turned out good for all things considered, being outside in the elements. And then from there, one of my friends owned a home, wasn't using the garage, and so he was letting me use the space. And I moved into that house, was there for 2 years, and then when I got married, we moved in to a house together that we were renting from my parents and used a small 1-car garage. Made a lot of cool pieces, fun pieces, struggled a lot trying to get things to fit because of the size of the space. And then in June of 2024, we moved into our current home, and this is technically a 2-car garage based on the amount of space in here. It's definitely longer and about the same width, so been able to use the space. I think there's still a lot of things that I want to, figure out. No workshop is ever going to be perfect. You're always trying to innovate and make things work better, but I think it has worked amazingly. I think it's really easy for me to be discontent in this space when I see different people's shop tours and things on YouTube, Instagram, or even in person. So I think that's my biggest fight day in and day out, is instead of whining about not having a space that's big enough, trying to figure out how to make this space work for me. But I think a reflection overall is this has probably simultaneously been the hardest thing that I've ever done. I think when I first started out, or I don't think I know, when I first started out and filed taxes for that first year, I reported a total of like $9,000, and I was like, sweet. And then that number has gone up every year, partially just because of word of mouth, partially out of necessity. Probably be kind of difficult to support a family making $9,000 a year. So I think that feels like a success as far as that goes. I think that's probably been the thing that I've been chasing the most since starting, is what does success look like? Is it financial success? Is it the autonomy of being my own boss, getting to say yes to the things I want to do and no to the things I don't want to? Some days it feels really arbitrary and boiled down to money. Other days feels like a more deep thing in my heart that I'm searching for. Depending on the project, I feel that satisfaction, and others it leaves me wanting more. But I think it's hard, living in the place that I do. There's a ton of people that need help and have a lot of projects, but don't necessarily have the financial means to pay at the price that I feel like something should be charged at. So there's always a fight internally with myself do I charge less and just work more? Or do I charge what I think I should and just full send it? I think it's not, I don't want to make this super long and cheesy, or I don't know. As a Christian, hear a lot about greed being, or not greed, but it usually gets boiled down to money is bad, but in actuality it's greed. So having to fight that as well on a daily basis, that I can make money doing this and it's okay if I charge money because I need to buy groceries, I need to maintain tools, I need to get gas, pay rent, or I guess a mortgage now since we own this home. But it's really easy to second guess myself in that route. I'm sure for the 2 to 5 of you that watch this consistently, maybe you struggle with the same thing, maybe you don't. But yeah, I think another challenge is it's easy for me to feel like by charging a certain amount, however much an hour, my time is worth that, and therefore I am worth that. If that number is high, and it's like my worth feels high, but if that number is low, I have to fight the thought. It's like I'm only worth X amount of dollars when my worth comes from something more. But just another struggle that I kind of have to fight through. I think keeping in mind in the grand scheme of the world, I'm doing really well, so maybe these, it could be easy to downplay these, like there's people that have it worse, but I think they are real struggles for myself, maybe you guys. But I think this job, business has brought a lot of satisfaction, a lot of joy. I've gotten to help a ton of people either bring things to reality where they have an idea of something, but they don't know what that will look like in reality. Others just serving a practical need. They need a deck built. I can build a deck, or I can make a table, or I can switch out ceiling fans. So it has brought a lot of satisfaction in that area, that I can use the skills that I've been given and make things better for people. So that is awesome. Another struggle is the area I live in doesn't have a high demand for custom furniture all the time, and I have to learn, or I've had to learn, how to branch out and do handyman things, home remodel things, just kind of what the season demands, requires. But I've learned a lot of random skills. I think if push came to shove, I could probably build a house, which, I don't know, 5 years ago, not a chance I could do that. I could also furnish the house now, which would be cool. That would probably be a dream of mine, is to build a house with my own hands, build the furniture in it. The only issue is finding the time to do that. Now I have the skills and I don't have the time, so it's kind of comical. But yeah, I think this space, my garage, our garage, depending on my mental state when I come in here, can either be a really restful place with the sound of motors humming and machines going, and I can just lock in and make something, and the cares of the world go away. But if I come in with a busy mind and ungrateful heart, then it definitely translates to my work, and it doesn't translate well a lot. So kind of seems like there's a lot of things that I need to work on based on talking this out loud. But overall, it's been a super fun journey. I mean, ideally, keep doing this another 5 years. I think one of the driving factors for me is I heard a ton starting out that's like most small businesses don't last longer than 5 years. And I was like, great, that's the goal, 5 years. And we've hit that point, and now I need to come up with a new goal. Whether that's making a certain amount of dollars or getting a commercial shop. The dream would be to purchase one of the buildings around town that aren't in great shape, renovate it, split it in half, make it a storefront type space. We've got a lot of coffee shops, so I don't know if that would be worthwhile going into, or being able to somehow make a space that doubles as a storefront and a place for people to come gather and hang out, and then also make it a shop. Because I think I've learned that while it is convenient having the shop right outside, I guess here, it also makes it really hard to turn my brain off at the end of the day, because it's like, I've got some spare time. I could go out in the garage and work on something. So on the weekends, if I'm behind, it's nice, but I've sacrificed a lot of nights of sleep and weekends. And now that we have a baby, I don't necessarily want to do that as much, because I guess another goal was with the autonomy of being able to be present a ton, and I've been able to do that. When my wife goes to work, I can hang out with our son, and we don't need to pay for childcare because that's crazy expensive. But yeah, so maybe need to spend some time dreaming about different goals. I think goals that I have for the shop is just trying to get everything on wheels. There's a handful of tools and things that aren't. Figure out a better way to lay out everything so that stuff flows well. So I think it is, if I take some time to think back 5 years ago, and it was like I borrowed a friend's job site table saw. I had a circular saw. Before I had a planer or a jointer, I just spent the big bucks on pre-surfaced material and made it work. Made a lot of stuff out of pine, and it looked good, but looking back, I would love to be able to go back and remake a lot of furniture for people that I've made things for. Not necessarily because that stuff was bad, I just know a lot more now, and I can do it a lot better. That's probably another struggle, is I'm not necessarily a perfectionist all the time, but because I know how something should be done or what it should look like, if it doesn't meet my mental expectation, then I'm a little disappointed, and I can be my own worst critic. So I've got to fight through that and continue to work on that. But I think that little bit of critique has pushed me to be a lot better. But yeah, just a short reflection for you guys. If you have any questions, if there's anything you're curious about of how I've got my shop laid out, or you'd want a quick video of how it is laid out so that you, people with bigger brains, could help me figure out a better flow, that would be much appreciated. Yeah, I think I've got, maybe I'll attach with this, in our home, there is a crawl space, I call it crawl space, it's a walk space, that would require a lot of work, but I think would be really cool to attempt. So probably go show you guys that, and would love any ideas, tips on, and it's gonna be this long process because there's a lot of dirt to remove and concrete to pour and things that I don't know yet. That's probably, along with trying to build this business, trying to also use the skills I have to make our home bigger so we can invite more people over as our family expands. We can have more space for them. But yeah. So this is the quote-unquote crawl space, more of a walk space. It's currently storage for all of my random construction stuff. A bunch of slabs and wood and more construction stuff. But the dream, the vision would be basically to remove all this dirt around here and make it, let's see if we can see this. From here to the floor joist is almost 9 feet. Obviously I need to put gravel down, pour concrete, the works, but would need to go through the process of digging all the dirt out, but pinning the basement walls all the way down. Back in that corner, it's like, I don't know, maybe 4 feet. So trying to, all the work that needs to go into it, it'd be a long process, but the goal maybe try to, I don't know, I've got an assortment of tools, but I don't think I have some of the bigger stuff that would make this project easier. So trying to see if I can get, I don't know if sponsorships is the right word, but trying to get connected with people that have machinery that I could use or they could teach me to use, and I've got a lot ahead of me, but the goal would be adding a bedroom, a bathroom, a bedroom, stairs would come down somewhere kind of in the middle, replacing these posts with partially a wall that would kind of divide and make up the width of the bedrooms, have a living room over in that back corner, and then trying to, obviously I've got a lot of junk, and so trying to consolidate all of this into a storage space that would kind of live in this section, theoretically somewhere around this post this way, so I can still keep all this stuff, because if I had to keep all this stuff in the garage, I don't think I'd have much space to make things. But yeah, so that's the harebrained scheme that my wife and I came up with. Again, any advice, tips, tools, greatly appreciated. Right now at this point it's just kind of a wheelbarrow load at a time, but gotta start somewhere. So